I'll open it up if there are any other questions for our panelists. Sir?
Quick one. When you go look for people, right, you're going to bring new people onto the team. Are you finding people who are skilled, they walk in the door and they go, yep, got it, I know what to do, and they swim at the fishes, or do you have to bring them up to speed?
There's probably a cultural sort of inculcation in any organization, right? So in the same way that you would say, hey, this is where we store our documentation and we use this for bug reporting, et cetera, there is a tool set and a practice set that you sort of need to indoctrinate folks to. But I think as the community becomes more mature, these become much more subtle and much smaller. And I'm sure you see that with your products as well, right?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think too, I guess it depends on the type of role, but if we're talking about a developer or an engineer to build a product, this pipeline, commercial and even federal space, right, is not uncommon, right? I mean, obviously, in terms of doing it, everybody's doing it amazingly well and everybody's Netflix, right? Obviously, that's not the case. But the concepts, right, of failing quickly, of changing requirements, of continuous integration, continuous deployment, of you mentioned earlier in terms of I write the code, you write the test, I write the code, you review the code. Like all of these type of practices are just modern software development. So I think people coming in can handle that. And then the cool thing about, I think, a lot of these tools that enable these DevOps processes is the extensibility, right, of these. All of these type of products are built to be extensible because these workflows, like what Sheila's doing, is really like wouldn't even. I don't even know if it would have been possible 10 years ago, just because you have to be so flexible to allow the developers, because people have different workflows. Like my team built a pipeline that may not be perfect and may not have every part of this, but it was organically grown to meet needs, right? It's built on Jenkins, but we wrote it, and we wrote this automation, and it wasn't gifted to us or a new platform as a service given to us, and so we tailored it exactly to our needs. But you're able to be successful bringing gifts of this awesome platform, I think, because of the extensibility of that and the documentation around the extensibility of those endpoints for these products so that they can glue and communicate with developers effectively.
And I think, so a little bit, I agree completely with that. I think all the options, though, can be overwhelming for organizations, right? And so it's like, but I can do anything, right? And you've just given me the Swiss Army knife of application development, and I don't know what to do. So we do find agencies that are like, just give me a really opinionated view of the world, and then I will begin to adapt that.
Tell me what to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
no, it's like, because I don't know where to start, right? And so I think it goes sort of both ways, that knife. So, we can provide sort of that opinionated view of the world and then adapt it to sort of what you have in-house as well.
Learn and grow.
That's right, for sure.
Learn and grow.
I love it.
I think that some of the younger developers that are coming in are quicker to adopt the newer things than some of the older folks who have been there a little bit longer. And I say that because I have a very mature team. I won't call them old. But as we're bringing in the newer developers, right, and they're helping to change that culture on the team, because I don't know that my more mature team doesn't want to do new things, right? I think they just don't know how or where to start, right? So when you bring in the fresher, newer folks onto the team, they help build that, because they can show the folks on the team you can have success quicker, right? And trust me, every team likes success. So I think that I've found that, if I have some younger and some more mature developers on my team, I get a better outcome, right? But those younger developers need to be, and they're easily being included, which is very surprising to me. I had one team that I thought everybody should be close to retiring at least in the next 10 years. I'm like, I'm not going to have anybody left, right? So I was afraid that when I brought new people in, the younger folks in, that they wouldn't be accepted. But just the opposite. They love them, right? They want to work with them.
It's a dedication to the mission. Ultimately, I think most government employees and system integrators, I think they really value and feel an attachment and a closeness to their mission. So like you said, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to deliver on their mission. Change is hard and uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, we've got a mission to deliver. And if this capability can help me do that and I can mentor an individual in return, sort of move that forward, I think that cognitive diversity works really well together.
It does.
Curious where you get that. I know that as the Fortify people were doing stuff in software security way back when, the university system was not teaching security. Marianne Davidson from Oracle used to come to Washington, D.C. and say, I've sent 100 letters out to the universities of the United States asking them to provide me people that know how to develop code securely, because I get them out of the university system and I have to train them for 3 to 6 months before I let them touch a line of code. Microsoft did the same thing. Do universities teach the DevOps process? How do you get that expertise, that younger expertise? Should they learn it somewhere else on the job?
I think they're learning it in college now. I think they're learning Jenkins. I think even if they're not teaching it in class, the developers are learning. They know the tools that they like to use on their IDE. I think they know what I think
they can download these tools off of
because they
GitHub
can download them. They're all
open
open source, and
GitHub is the playground as well now.
Yeah.
Everybody has,
Every class will be in GitHub, right?
exactly. So I mean, a lot of these snippets of these.
So they're just kind of being immersed in it by osmosis. And
They're
when they
going
come
up.
in,
They're
they're
going up.
comfortable with the environment already.
I mean, they make it easy. I deployed software from GitHub onto a Raspberry Pi 4 weeks ago, and I hadn't done that in 20 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And we have partnerships as well, right? So Red Hat has partnered with Boston University. They're using OpenShift in the classroom, but they've also deployed it on the Massachusetts Open Cloud, which is a collaborative partnership in Massachusetts. And we have post-grad students and postdoctoral students who are now writing sort of MRI resolution, HPC type of workloads that are running on OpenShift. So for those that don't know, fetal MRIs are really, really difficult to take because if you've ever taken an MRI, you have to sit really, really still. So you can't stop the mother's beating heart inside of her to take that MRI, and you certainly can't tell the fetus to sit still. So all of that noise has to be rationalized out of those images in order to create that MRI. And they found that processing at scale on OpenShift was something that they were able to do. But again, it's distribution of the software. It's that agile methodology. And this is happening in the university system in Boston.